Hey there, this is your pal Pallie, and welcome back to Git Er Raid. Here it is, Siege of Orgrimmar. Let's go kill that bad orc. First up in the raid is Immerseus, giant corrupted puddle guy. Yeah, it just about describes him. The fight is usually 2 tanked and 2 to 3 healed, although if your DPS is really high, I think you can get away with 1 tank. For those of you who followed my PTR guides, this fight isn't terribly changed from PTR, so many of my descriptions of mechanics are the same. I'll have some additional detail to provide, having downed it on live now, though, of course. The basic premise of the fight is that you are trying to cleanse this water spirit of corruption. He starts with 100 corruption and around 74 million health. Every time you bring his health down to nothing, he splits into a bunch of adds. For every add you manage well, his corruption goes down by 1. When all of the adds are killed or absorbed back into him, he will heal up to the percentage of health that is his new corruption level and start fighting again. So if you kill 20 corruption off of him, he'll be at 80% when he comes back at you. Now notice I said for every add you manage well, you reduce his corruption. What I mean by that is that there are 2 types of adds. Ones that you DPS down like every other fight, but there are adds that you have your healers heal up to full. Those count against his corruption too. We'll get back to that transition phase in a minute, but let's first talk about his normal phase. 2 tanks are probably required because of Corrosive Blast. It does 600k shadow damage and gives you a stacking debuff that makes you take 100% more shadow damage per stack. I will note that this is a conal ability, so if both tanks are in front of the boss, they'll both get a stack. That's bad, so you at least want the tanks to be separated by some degree. I've seen tanks take 2 or even 3 stacks of this debuff with cooldowns, but it's probably just safest to 2 tank it and swap it. During this normal phase, everyone in the raid will have to deal with Shaw pools. Every 6 or so seconds, a pool will spawn underneath you and tick for 70k damage. It is completely unavoidable damage that you just have to move for as quickly as possible. The only other ability he does during the fight is called Swirl. He will spawn a bunch of moving tainted pools. If you get hit by one, you take some damage and get knocked into the air. Just avoid them if you can. During Swirl, the boss also shoots out water in front of him that knocks you back. It hurts, but it isn't deadly, so if you need to retain your raid positioning, you may just want to eat the damage and watch that you don't get knocked back into any other bad pools. That normal phase continues until you get his health down to 0, and then he splits. DPS, your priority is to kill off Shaw puddle adds. They can be slowed and knocked back. You'll likely want to be spread around the room and killing off as many of these as you can. Each DPSer can probably handle 2 to 3 each, depending on their spawn points. I will note also that when you kill off a Shaw puddle, it explodes in a small radius for a bit of damage. This isn't too bad, but if you eat that damage, you gain a short buff that helps you kill the other Shaw puddles quicker. Honestly, it works out, like I said, you'll probably only get 2 or 3 taken care of before they are absorbed, so don't worry too much about getting the buff. Healers, here's your fun part. There are another type of add called Contaminated Puddles. If you heal these up to full, they will merge into Immerseus and remove 1 corruption from him. It also gives you a healing buff if you stand near the puddle when it reaches full health. It's a significant buff, so I wouldn't skip out on this one. Healers just try to target the adds, heal them up, and be nearby when they are healed to full. Probably best to put yourself in the path of one as you heal it and then run towards it when it gets to full. The bad part of this phase is that for every puddle that reaches him, he will explode on the raid for a decent chunk of damage, up to 70k for each puddle. This can get huge if all of them in the area are allowed to hit at the same time, which is why it's at least important to slow and knock back many puddles, and of course kill off a lot of Shaw puddles. Obviously this is the time for raid CDs along with personal CDs. Everyone should be aware when this phase is about to end. After all the puddles are killed or merged back in, we go back to normal mode, and like I said, the more corruption you take off of him by killing or healing adds, the less health he starts the next phase with. His abilities don't change at all, and he just does everything all over again. Keep killing him and cleansing off the corruption, and you'll eventually win. Strategy-wise, the approach we took was to divide the raid into 2 5-man groups and just each take a side. The tanks would tank the boss up front here, pointing out of the room. Everyone stayed to the boss's side and just kept moving for puddles. Just stay in range of healers and you'll be fine. For the split phase, everyone would split up and some would head to the back of the room. Depending on what puddles spawned where, people would DPS or heal the puddles, and after they took care of a couple puddles, they would start heading back towards their respective raid marker so that they were in range for heals when the puddles started to merge and explode on the raid. Honestly, the biggest complication of this fight is just the sheer size of the room. If you get too far away from healers or the group, you might die to the simple mechanics. So just keep around your group and do what you need to do. The size of the room even screws up things like Bloodlust and raid-wide CDs. On my Hunters group, we had both a Shaman and Mage on our side, and when they popped Lust on the pole, the other group on the other side of the boss didn't even get it. I do recommend popping Lust on the pole, as there doesn't seem to be any other good place for it, but maybe try to be closer together as a group, and pop it, and then spread out to your respective locations. That should be about it for this boss. You're going to have to work out how to divide your raid up around the room, get tank swaps going, don't stand in puddles, and then kill or heal up as many adds as you can in the transition. I'd like to take 1 second to thank all the new subscribers and people commenting and helping out with these guides. I'm working to get better and improve these guides at every iteration, so feedback is important, and spreading the word to other raiders if you found the guides useful is so awesome, so keep it up. I also recently joined Curse's Union for Gamers, so we'll hopefully see some of these videos featured on Curse sites, and look forward to a good partnership. So as always, thanks for watching, and please comment, like, and or subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one!